Is there anyone intelligent enough to understand me? Sex, God, Jewish Christians in Islam. Sex, God, sex, God, Jewish Christians in Islam? Sex, God, Jewish Christians, and Islam. Maybe that's what it should have been. Sharing your body with someone is a beautiful, intimate sharing between two people who understand you can have sex with the ones you love. It's normal. It's our human way of expressing vulnerability, trust, and love. If we teach that to our children, then nobody would grow up feeling like a slut for wanting that beautiful connection with someone. Slut? Why try to make someone feel bad for having a beautiful connection with someone? Because the Christians are hypocrites. Because America is fed these lies of disgust for something so wonderful, so beautiful. And you want to know why men go to war? Because they have to pretend for the Catholic Church and every other Christian and Jews and Muslims. They pretend and suppress our natural nature and turn it into something God hates. Oh, just look at the logic and reason, please. Oh, just look at the logic and reason that I'm about to tell you. And you too can open your eyes to what these religions have done to our mental well being. Any girl or woman that shouts at another girl or woman that they are a slut, or even a man for that matter, shouting at women and girls. Oh man. That woman or man has never had sex and is so messed up in the head about keeping their virginity and fearing every man because all they want to do is take it. All because she was raised by people telling her it was evil and a sin. Or that woman has had sex and either had a terrible experience or even a good one. But because she is raised by people that tell her she is going to hell forever once God has his judgment day, you slut. You whore. Sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but words will never hurt me. You psychopathic, unintelligent creature that only needs to be loved in the proper way. To understand that living is wonderful, being human is wonderful, that God is only love, never hate, pain, manipulation. God is good. And what about those Muslim men that believe that if they die in battle, they will go to heaven and God will make 77 women be his sex slave? Right? That is all that means. Where is the love in that for women? So let me show you how to determine the logic behind this belief. And why it's not true. Okay, let us say that 1 million Muslim men die in battle. Their soul will wake up in heaven. And lo and behold, they are still a man, with a penis and all. And then he remembers that he died in battle. And then all of a sudden, God will speak. Hello, my man. You lived your life perfect, and now you will live here in heaven with me. What are we talking about? Oh, yes. You and me are talking. I'm doing the talking, but what we're doing here is contemplating what would happen if 1 million Muslim men die in battle. What would that do in heaven when they arrive? God says, "Welcome, thank you for killing your brothers and sisters in my name. You have done well, and now I will give you your reward for heroism above and beyond in the face of my face, God. You shall now receive 77 virgins, 77 virgin girls between the ages of 9 and 13. Have fun. They are your servants forever. Forever and ever. Do as you wish. Brutalize them. Command them to your every wishes. But never, never defile the sanctity of their virginity. For if you do, I will throw you down to hell forever and ever. You will never be allowed in heaven ever again. But you will live being tortured by demons and Satan himself." At at hell.com. At hell.com. So this is the problem with a man's logic. If this is what he believes in, and don't get me wrong, it's not just Muslim men, but men like Trump, Putin, Netanyahu. I didn't know how to spell his name. Yahoo! What an idiot. The logic doesn't work. If 1 million men die and God gives each one 77 women slaves, that would be 77 million women to 1 million men. 77 million. Why don't they want to share? For one, because what about all the other men that don't get, or does every man get 77 virgins in heaven? Okay, and two, women believe in one man, one woman. They call it finding their true love. If men, so understand this then. So if women are looking for their true love, the one man that is their equal and their other half, their actual other half of their soul, which I'll get into later, but if we take their logic. So what men have created is even a heaven where they're in control. They get to do whatever they want, right? And women will still be their servants up in heaven. I mean, so let's move on. If men would grow up and come out of the jungle, Tarzan can become a gentleman. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention? Brian Ayers is in town. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Ladies, come and get some while you can. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Uh, this is just the beginning. When he moves on, he will take land management, education, transportation, all in the vision of Star Trek. Men, don't be afraid. We all believe that we can find our true love as well. You are not meant to have a harem. We are not animals in the forest anymore. Okay? Our species does not have to have more women in it to satisfy one man. Equal amounts, equal responsibility. And that's what most those religions don't teach. They teach that the woman is the servant, not that the woman is equal. Okay, that's what I'm getting at. But women do. Women, you need to speak up and tell men, yeah, no, I don't believe, beep, beep that out. I don't believe that you're right, men. That's what you need to say, women. You need to stand up and speak out so that men can learn. So let's move on again. But we know that it'll take many lives through the cycle of life and death. Men, and I'm talking to all the men that believe in life and death cycle. A soul, we have a soul, whether you believe it or not. Okay, it's going to take many lives of you, of me. I've already lived many lives. I'm going to live many more. And same with everybody on this planet. You have no control over that. God is in control of that. When you die, God takes you and holds you in such love that you're not scared. You know that you're safe. And unfortunately, God is, okay, I'm brainwashed into saying he because I was raised Catholic, but it's not. God holds each of us so safely and takes our free will away so that we can't cause havoc in heaven with each other. Okay, and if you don't, this is going to be hard for some people to understand. Okay, God brings everyone to heaven when they die so they can wait to be reborn again here. Which means, yes, Trump, Putin, Netanyahu, when they die, they will be held by God and allowed time for their souls to learn what they did wrong and become pure again to be ready to be born again on earth. And yes, what does that mean? Hitler went to heaven when he died. And God held him. And who knows if he's been reborn yet? Probably not, because he's probably got a lot of things to work through. So if you want to understand that part, the Hindus have a good understanding. Uh, Unfortunately, there's other things that I don't agree with them on reality, but something like that I do. So, what were we talking about? We were talking about trying to find our true love, each of us, right? I think I found mine, and everyone should find theirs. But it doesn't mean we're going to have a good time because we're here as humans on a planet that constantly is in battle with itself. So, this is why it's going to take many lives finding your true love over and over until you both realize that you are equals. And when that couple finds that, okay, that's going to be an evolutionary moment where the knowledge of their connection, of understanding their true love together, it'll be like an explosion of energy and thought around our earth, and we all benefit and we all evolve together at one point. That's what I want this planet to get to, and that's why I'm doing this. I'm a philosopher, okay? So I don't know if y'all understand that, but that's the beauty I see in us. And that's what I'm trying to do. Solve the world's problems, and so we can all move on to a beautiful goal as a human species. Okay, so many lives, but before we can become intelligent enough to understand what that single intimacy between one man and one woman is, uh, it can take thousands of years or more. I don't know. But if you so called men, leaders, givers, and takers, as the males in the forest do in animal form, we are no longer animals. We are men. And you all need to be educated by Plato, Aristotle, Kant, Descartes, and I put a few others, and others. We need philosophy men taught in our schools so that boys can become men mentally. Because what do we see right now in America? Without philosophy being taught in schools, what kind of leaders do we have? We have men that are boys. That's all. Trump is just a little boy thinking it's all still just a game to play because his world of billionaires all think that they figured out how to survive for themselves. But they're going to learn that if they don't change, and equalize it, there's ways of doing it and still having motivation of higher paid people, millionaires. Okay, there is. We can, but we need to minimize the greed and the power of them thinking they control the world. And okay, we will get into that later. Just as they're destroying the world right now, Don't worry about it. And we'll get to that later. Okay, but Plato, Aristotle, Kant, Descartes, these are things that humans need, and women. Okay, I say men, but women, I don't understand your brain. And you're all going to have to speak out. And I say, read these philosophers, especially the one, Metaphysics on the Self. It was either Descartes or Kant. I don't know who did it, but uh, one of you philosopher women need to read that and make a counterpart with a woman's mind. And I would say, women, you need to read all these old men, philosophers, and give us the woman's side of each of those great philosophers. Don't worry about modern philosophers. And I'm sorry, modern philosophers. I mean, I haven't kept up with all of it, but so there might be someone out there that understands me. But from what I've seen, they all take too much of a look at one thing. Okay, for me, my philosophy has always been everything. I'm looking at everything at once, and I'll tell you the story later. So where are we? God, I want to reread this whole thing because I do that. I tend to prattle off on a tangent because it's all connected. That's how I see it. So me explaining all that is to help you understand what I'm reading right here. Okay? And I'm going to be making other videos, so stay tuned. We're not even halfway done with this one. So let's just do a real quick recap. What am I talking about? Sex, God, Jewish, Christians, and Islam. Oh, man. And then, you know, beautiful, wanting to be the beautiful connection between two people of love, which we call sex. Okay? And we even have derogatory terms for it. But for me, all those words talking about that beautiful connection between two people, intimate, private, it is beautiful. Of course, orgies are not beautiful. They can be if if it was done by like really intelligent people, but it's, porn shouldn't, we'll all get into that. But this, you don't need to worry about that. You just need to understand this. Okay? True love, right? Gentlemen, men, we're coming out of the forest. We're not animals anymore. We need to educate ourselves and teach our children properly, right? To grow up, to become intelligent enough to understand what that single intimacy between one man and one woman is, because that's our reality. And I know there's a lot of hoopla, gays, lesbians. Guess what? Don't worry about that. You're all okay too. You all fit in this. But I have to separate, and I will explain that. And you're all beautiful. You are. You are all beautiful, and your experiences is helping the world in ways that you don't know. So, anyways, so I'll talk about that later. So we need to become more intelligent. So-called men, leaders, and dealer takers. We are no longer animals. Okay, we're here, right? Philosophy. Okay, so you and our children can become intelligent. not to escape the life and death cycle of our souls, like the Hindus, I think, believe in that, or that religion, that those spiritual, whatever. Cut. Okay. So, okay. So, not to escape the life and death cycle. Okay. We become intelligent and we want to stay here. We should love being humans enough to say, yeah, I want to die and come back here as a newborn because this world is so wonderful. Um, you know, not that, oh, I hope when I die, God will keep me in heaven forever so I don't have to come back. No, God created the universe and this planet and all the other planets and you. So, okay, there's intelligent life everywhere. Get over it. But this is our home where our souls get to be reborn into this universe because God created it through dimensions. Scientists, okay, all those dimensions, that is not the universe dimension, that physical world, that physical reality that we live in. But all those other dimensions is what creates this dimension. Without one of those dimensions, this all crashes the universe. Okay? And you have to understand, scientists, that the universe does expand forever in every direction. Okay? Um, and the only thing that can hold everything forever is nothing. And God is the only thing that understands nothing. We will never understand it. But those dimensions is what creates this reality. So God had a purpose building all these dimensions to be able to create this one for our souls to be born into something beautiful and something to grow and learn as children. God wants us to grow and evolve, and this is the only place we can do it. And this is where our souls, I mean, you can do other things, okay? Once you die, there's options, but you're human. And we should want to be human and live. And we should all feel that for each other and say, you know what? I want to be able to walk out my front door and say, yes, I know everyone in this world is happy, as happy as I am. Because when I was young and I realized, no, everyone doesn't feel as happy as I do, that's part of my quest of philosophy. Okay. Uh, okay, so we need to accept, accept. We need to accept or accept. I've always gotten those words mixed up. So that we need to accept that we exist in this universe. For real, people, for real. This is not a simulation. You are not trapped in the matrix. You exist in the universe. You may call it God if you wish, but nevertheless, just accept that life is real and the logic is sound. This is the simplest way I can explain this. I call it my philosophy of the simplicity of life. Okay? I started when I was 10. You'll hear the story. Oh, yeah. I've been working on, I wrote it down. I've been working on it since I was 10 years old. Can you believe it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it? So, here it is. Okay. Part 1 of learning my philosophy on the simplicity of life. God created us. I think we're all in agree with that. God loves us. I think we're all in agree to that. God wants us to evolve. Like children being born, God is giving us forever to learn to be responsible for our own actions. Because God gave us free will here in this universe. We don't have free will in His. Ha! Okay, maybe I say God is His because I'm a man and that's how I feel, my side of God, and I need to find a woman that can understand her side of God, and that's the intimate, true love, finding connection, and everybody, if that happens, everybody on this planet, our souls will all grow as one. We are connected. So, God wants us to learn to be responsible for our own actions. That's all. He says, here is a planet. You all have free will. I'm not going to help you. You survive on this planet in this universe. Grow and evolve. Or destroy yourselves. But I'll still keep bringing you back. Okay? At this point, we are on this planet. Whether World War III happens, or if they want to call it Armageddon and say and lie to you that God is destroying the world, and then the rapture is happening. Okay, those are all lies, but we can destroy ourselves with nuclear bombs, and you can call it whatever you want, but it all stems down to just being stupid. Humans being stupid that are in charge of helping us to survive in this universe. Okay? They've thought about their own survival, but they haven't thought about everybody's survival. And that's the problem. That's why they don't solve any problems. Okay? They're scared just like everybody else. I get it. This is why everyone needs to stop believing in what the Jews, which used to be the Hebrews, you all have to stop believing in the God they created. Because that God in the Bible that they started was not God. And I'll tell you why. Because God would not put two brothers and favor one. He would not have two brothers coming to God and say, here is my bounty that I give you in praise of your name. And then God says, I don't like yours. I like his. He did better because he spilt blood and killed an animal. That's just vegetables and fruits. What, do you want me to be a vegetarian? So God would not make this one brother feel bad and jealous about his brother being favored by God. God would accept both of the brothers' offerings as if they were both the greatest thing they ever got. God would be like, oh my gosh, look at all this fruit and veg. I'm going to have the juiciest time. And I'm going to make some smoothies. Oh, and you gave me this and the meat. Oh, I'm going to fry that. Oh, barbecue that. And I'm going to make the ribs. And then, oh, this is a great feast that you both have given me. And I am so thankful. Okay, that's what God would do. Not, yeah, and then the brother gets mad and goes crazy. God doesn't like me. I'm going to kill my brother. Ah! What? Nobody's killing anybody's brother because God loves us all the same. So that God that the Hebrews and now the Jews try to keep hold of and say that this is real, that is not real. Whatever that was back in that time, those men were either insane or they were being manipulated by some alien being from outer space. And that's reality because there are aliens from outer space. And if you were human, if they had read Aristotle and Plato at those times, which, I don't think they were alive at that time, but they would have been able to realize, hey, I'm being manipulated because my God is not an evil God. He doesn't tell me to kill my own son and then say, ha ha, just kidding, just wanted to make sure you're still loyal to me. Okay? None of that's real. That is not God. So everything else based on that, which is Christianity and Islam, is not real. Now, they all have a good side that says, let's be good this way. Okay? But if those three religions actually did that, at any point in our history, there would have been no wars. We'd all be happy. Simple as that. So yes, stop going to your mosque, going to your church, stop going and paying these people money to lie to you about a God that hates you and has a hell waiting for you. God does not have a hell waiting for us. This is as bad as it gets here on earth. This is as closest to hell as you're going to get because there are such atrocities, so many atrocities that most people don't even think about, but I've had to think about because that's all part of the problem here on the earth. And if I want to help us to get past and have a happy world, okay, there's so much you just don't understand, and I don't have the time in this video to tell you everything. We'll get to that later. So, where was I? We have to be responsible to learn our own actions and to not feel alone in the home that God created for us. So we may exist. As my dad would say, period. Period. End of discussion. And you couldn't get another word out of him. I love my dad. He is truth itself. The way he handled all of life's problems, the safety and the benefits, was always on his family, as honest as any one man can be. No other man will ever take his place in my mind as a perfect dad. So let me get back to this, what I had said over here. Okay. God wants us. This is what we're talking about. This is what, if you think in your terms, which is the way we think, okay, words and we create these words to understand everything. That's why philosophy is so important. So we can only understand our reality, and we can't worry, and God doesn't want us to worry about what God is doing or thinking. That's how free we are. And we have to be responsible for our own actions. That and God wants us not to feel alone in this home that God created for us, so we may exist as my my dad. I love him. You all don't know. God is God. You are you. Let me say that again. God is God. You are you. I am me. They are them. Everybody is an individual. All right? Nobody has multiple people trapped up in here. Okay? There's one soul, one body. Period. Okay? And we'll get into that later. And yes, you are puny little human in a gigantic universe with who knows what. But this earth is our home. God gave you, me, and every other human being on this planet. Do you understand the word planet? As in floating around a giant fireball in a three-dimensional space, four if you want to put in time, but space is three-dimensional. That allows for colorful sunrises and sunsets. And that we are all flying around in a galaxy within a universe that is too big for us to even see that far out. My theory on that is a good one. I believe it will disrupt the astronomy field of study and help them move on. That later. Okay. So God gave you me. No, God didn't give you. Wait. It's all in how you read it. Okay. God gave you, me, and everyone else. Okay. God gave you, me, and everyone else free will. We are in control of this body that we're in. We have free will to think, to learn, to choose, to do physical things. And the most beautiful physical thing is when two people come together, as my mom told me once when we were children. Okay. Look the word up in the dictionary, free will. I encourage everyone to, because y'all don't know definitions of words that you're using like you need to. Okay, to have a will, this is my definition of free will. To have a will of your own that you are responsible for, and it is up to you upon how fast you evolve into a higher being. That's why I laugh at the Hindus, but they're good people. Let's see. I have all the answers on how to save the world without destroying it. Making people suffer in fear and hatred like animals being hunted in the forest. Me, I'm reading that wrong and it sounds weird. So let me try it again. I have all the answers on how to save the world without destroying it. Okay? I've been putting it all together since I was 10. I am 54 now. You do the math. So, uh, the wrong way of helping the human species to evolve, the wrong way is by making people suffer in fear and hatred like animals being hunted in the forest. Okay? That's not how you solve problems in this world. And so when I say save the world without destroying it, all I mean is I've got a pretty good grasp on how to solve a lot of problems that will fix the inequality but still keep that number one trophy, number two trophy, and number three trophy for people to try to grab for. Okay? So please, billionaires, understand that yes, um, you're not going to lose everything. Okay? But you're going to gain a world that you can walk around in the streets yourselves as a normal person. Okay? Actors will be able to join society, which they need to be able to portray us better. Okay? Without being swamped and, hey, oh, I know you, I like your movies, oh, come take a picture with me. Okay? You're disrupting their normal life. But people that go into politics, okay, you're choosing that. And we'll get to that later. So, me, I have been tearing down every problem that we humans have faced for the past 45 years. I know what I am talking about. Be patient and send as many emails, letters, phone calls to your governmental representatives, like your president, your dictators, your kings, your overlords, or whatever you want to call the people that you pay to do what? Ruin your lives? Kill you? We're really paying our governmental officials to build bombs so they can kill us? What? You're all so stupid. But I don't blame I don't blame our leaders. It's life. We're evolving. Look at our past and how much war and death we have been doing to ourselves over the years. And guess what? All of us have done that. Who knows? Maybe I was in the battle of, let's see, what's like something way, way back? Maybe I was in Alexander the Great's army as a soldier. Ah, killing people. Yeah. You know, I mean, every man has a connection whenever we watch movies like that. That, like, wow, that is exciting. Okay, but we're men. We need to stop that. We need to stop that. And leaders, it's okay. You can stop war right now and be like, okay, let's just take a breath. Let's start fixing things. Maybe this guy Brian has some good ideas so that we don't have to fear that What do we do when AI takes all the jobs and robotics takes the other jobs? And what do we do if there's no more war? All those people that have jobs supporting war. And then what happens when all those priests and everybody that preaches don't have a job anymore? What are all these people going to do? We don't have enough jobs to do. Yeah. Well, guess what? The best part is that we actually have the technology to equal it all out very smoothly. Okay? Our accountants can figure it out. Our economists in the college level, the professors, they can figure it out. Okay? And we can give them time. It's not a rush. Okay? We'll get to that. So don't worry, leaders. It's okay to stop war and take a breath and allow the world to mellow out. Okay, you don't have to cause World War III. You don't have to cause Armageddon and say that God's ending the world or anything crazy. Okay, we can make it through this transition of evolution, of realizing, wait, we truly, as a species, evolved out of the forest. Because what did I say about the Bible and the lies? It's lies because that God is evil. So if those, making stories with Eve, having the first sin because a snake, which is Satan, talks her into eating the apple of knowledge, and then, Adam does it too, and then they're both damned. No, okay. That's just, at best case scenario, that was a man that had too much time on his hand philosophizing about the beauty of what it would be like to have an equal woman with him, and the story of Adam and Eve. Oh, that would be a beautiful start. But then, what? It gets corrupted. Like, oh no, but then she would do this to me, and then we'd all be sinning, and God would kick us out of heaven. And we all have to make up for it before he destroys the world. Dude, stop believing in stupidity. Okay? No more. But that's, again, it is a safety net. And there are good preachers out there and that know what they're doing for the good side. And they don't take any of the bad. But still, I mean, if your church is telling you that you have to hate somebody or that somebody else is inferior to you in some way, then you just leave that church, because that's the church of lies. Okay? If your church is telling you we're all equal, men, women, we love everything and peace and happiness, okay, stay there. It's a great social place to be social with friends that just want to be happy. Okay, so that's my little take on that. Okay, so what do we pay our government for? To do what? We pay our government to organize us in a way that doesn't hurt anyone and only enhances our ability to evolve into a more intelligent, peaceful species. That's why we really are paying all of you leaders, even spiritual leaders. Okay, this is why people give you money. Please, I don't have the time or the know-how to do what you need to do because I want to have a family and have fun and do a nice job, and I'll help you in any way I can down here. Okay, just organize us because I do love to work, right? Okay, but and that's the problem. They aren't putting people to work. They're just letting businessmen do whatever they want, and they're not intelligent either enough for all of this because they, you know, have to make their shareholders happy, make money, right? Okay, there's certain things, we'll get to that later. So, in leaders, you need to do these things. So, I put here that exists in a universe made by God. Okay, so what are we doing here as leaders? Because that's what we know. We know a hierarchical form of leadership. All right, and it'll get us through the next 100 years. Okay, and then we can figure out something else. But you top leaders need to organize us in a way that doesn't hurt anyone and only enhances our ability to evolve into a more intelligent, peaceful species. That means, one, every child born is born into a happy family, and the children are given good education with philosophy and everything else, and the society around them, the world around them is all happy. Okay, that's the ultimate goal. And I think we are always 100 years away from that. And we have been. It'll only take, you know, once we start it, because you can't move fast. Be patient. I got it. We exist in this universe. We will never understand God because if you could understand God, then you would be God and God would be you. So you see, you cannot become one with God, but you can become one with someone else. That someone else is your true love. Or in philosophically, scientifical, analytical view of what the term true love is, then it represents the two halves for which God split itself into to understand itself for whatever reason. But this represents the beginning of the Big Bang. Only one side was masculine and the other side feminine, as we would know it. But to God, we have no idea what that means. At this point, there may be a lot of hoopla about what I've been talking about, and you're all confused. We'll settle down. Do me a favor. And after you read the next sentence, I want you to close your eyes. And when you do, think of this. If you were alone in heaven, who would you look like? A man or a woman? Close your eyes. Do this. Because when I close my eyes and think of myself going up to heaven, I'm still me. I look like me, this. But what I want to understand is, what do gay men see? What do trans see when they go imagine themselves going to heaven? What do lesbians see when they imagine themselves going to heaven? Now, I want to say I read in some spiritual religious belief or something that we are our soul is not masculine or feminine, and I disagree. Okay, so because if that was the case, then we would imagine ourselves going to heaven without any genitals and just. But this is the other thing. Okay, um, what do you look like? Are you human? A bear? I doubt that. Okay, nobody, when they close their eyes thinking of themselves in heaven, they don't see themselves as Casper the friendly ghost, or they don't see themselves as a cotton ball cloud floating around like that's I'll be that. No, they see themselves as human because we are human and this is our home. That's why y'all have to become comfortable and love being human and being die and come back, die and come back. You have to want to love it. You got to laugh at it because look at how stupid we are to ourselves. And when we could have all just fixed it together, because individually we are all good people within our own minds. I do believe that. Even a person that has gone insane. Okay, you want to know how insane a human can become? I've got a story. Me and my friends were in Santa Cruz. We're late at night, in the middle of the night, cruising around this park. And it had a like castle playground where you can climb up the castle part. And when we got to the top, we saw something in the corner that was, because it's dark. There was a moon, but it was still like a dark shadow, and we could see it was big. And we what is that? We were like, and then do you want to know what? Turned around. A man turned around. He was pretty dirty, pretty raggedy clothes, biting into a rat that he had caught. And he looked so scary to us because the insanity in his eyes. We ran. Okay. Insanity does exist within our human species. And until we fix this world, we want to fix this world, right? So that when we're reborn, we don't get stuck in some. Because, as far as I'm concerned, if karma works out properly, the leaders that are a-holes, when they die, they go to the shitholes of the earth, the poorest countries, or you know, to a family that rapes them when they're a baby. Maybe that's what happened to Hitler. He was born to some crazy family that think with a man that thinks he can stick his penis in a 6-month-old baby. I said it. That's the atrocities that happen, and that's in this world. And that's what if we fix the things that I tell you, humans won't go insane. We will be intelligent enough not to go insane, because I should be insane for everything that I've seen and understand. I should be crying in a padded cell, and many times I've imagined it. Please put me in a padded cell. I'll curl up in the corner and cry until I die. If everyone had to think about all the atrocities. Okay, it's an atrocity that a bomb gets dropped on a house and people die. Children have died recently. They die every day because we are not fixing the world, because our leaders are not intelligent enough to understand. And we need to help them to understand so that they can be intelligent enough and we can get through this. Close your eyes. Who are you in heaven? Who are you here? Every one of us can only see ourselves as what our soul is. And that is your soul masculine or feminine? But they're both equal and they're both needed to understand this universe and our existence. I don't understand that full thing, but it does connect with our ideas of true love. Women, speak up, please, and tell men that this is what you want. A world where every woman can find their true love. Every girl born is born happy, loved, safe, and know that they can trust every man that they see to not be insane. Okay? That's all. That's all we are, is insane. Men, we can be more intelligent. We are. Okay. And don't worry about where we are within space time, as the scientific world knows it. But everyone should start getting familiar with more words, 'cause word make you smart. Stop trying to talk like a computer. You are human, for God's sake. Or should I should calm down. My wife would be pinching my arm right now. You're getting angry. And then I need to diffuse. She saves me. You are human. For God's sake. We will keep evolving, even though the death and destruction that some men create, we always have. Insert meme. Oh, yeah, the meme. Okay, so let me read that one again. We will keep evolving even through the death and destruction that some men create. We always have, right? We always have. But it's okay, man. We all do feel that. Like if you're a masculine soul, you do feel that. I want to fight. That's why I love football so much. I don't know. So, why do I talk about sex and love in a philosophical way? because that's what I've really been talking about this whole time, right? True love, the sex and bonding that two people have that is so beautiful, okay? But we teach our children that it's nasty to, I don't want, you better not be doing it. You better not be enjoying something, and then your teenage daughter comes home pregnant, I mean, that stuff wouldn't happen if everyone understood about sex and love in a philosophical way. Because I was afraid to turn the girls in my high school into sluts. That's why I never, I was never the guy that said, hey, you want to be my girlfriend? Or, I was friends with lots of girls and I loved them all. And any one of them I would have loved to have as a girlfriend. But I was too afraid because then people would think that we're having sex and then, oh my God, they're not virgins, they're sluts. And I didn't want that for my friends, the girls that were all my equals. And so only the women and girls that kissed me first did I ever attach with. Okay, so I was afraid, and that was all. This all adds up to my philosophical journey and why I created this. So, and I had to know why I felt that way, right? Why do I feel like I know sex is beautiful because I've had it at age 15. I was lucky enough that this 14-year-old girl who had already had sex with her boyfriend wanted to get back at her boyfriend for having sex with another girl, and she chose me to be that boy. And she invited me into like a treehouse of her friend, and it was just me and her. I didn't know what to do. I just enjoyed her company, and so I talked and talked and talked and talked until she finally got tired because she thought I knew that I was supposed to try to kiss her, which I always just saw girls as equals, like, yeah, 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 yeah. Anyways, so she had to grab my hand and put it on her breast and then say, kiss me. And she had to guide me through what we were going to do. And I listened and I let her be in charge. And it was fun, but it wasn't as fun as it could have been if I knew, but you got to find out somehow. You have to find out somehow. Sex is only learned by doing sex. And I think the Germans and Japanese could probably help the world understand how to teach that in a positive way if we can get rid of uh, the unintelligent men that want to just take for their own pleasure. All right, on the internet and anywhere, there shouldn't be any porn that has people peeing and pooping on each other. Okay, that's insanity. That's not sex. That's not love. That's insanity. And it happens. Animals, insanity. What else? Oh, yeah, like any of the niggas out there, anyways. Beep. At this point in my life, I had already spent the last 5 years trying to solve all the world's problems. I was 10. Now I'm in high school. I'm just saying 5 years, 6 years. So, and came to the realization that here was another piece in the puzzle of the problems of the world. Because of the way I was raised without any knowledge of sex, um, but you know it exists and you don't know why nobody talks about it. And then you get a class in school that just says, this is how we reproduce. But sex is not, love is not about reproduction. Okay? How many times do we all have sex in our life? Adults, okay, you older people, how many times have you had sex and said, oh, we're going to do this so we can have a child? Okay? Because that's when a child is born. No, we don't do that. Thousands and thousands of times we have sex just because we want to bond with the person we love. We want to share our vulnerability and intimacy and love. And it's a beautiful and wonderful thing. That's what I do. That's me. I try to communicate to other humans through dialogue, either written or spoken or this, so that you all can understand yourselves. It's okay. I have worked out how to solve every problem in the world because you fix one thing and it fixes actually a lot of things. Okay, so when I say every problem, I'm saying if you fix this, this gets fixed, this, and then all of a sudden you have no problems. And every child is born perfect in every way. No deformities, no nothing. That's all. That's the goal right there, right? So we should all be working towards that goal because that's going to be us again one day. And we want to be born perfect in every way and taken and loved in this world, in this universe that God created for us to exist in and evolve in. This is just the beginning of me explaining the simplicity of life. And yes, it is all just because I wanted to be a philosopher when I was 10 years old. I laughed to myself. Yeah, that's not a good laugh. I can't laugh right now. My throat's dry. Hold on. I laugh to myself because I know that I speak simply but complexly. It's, but anyway, simply to me, I guess. And that's why I don't know if anyone understands what I've been talking about at all up to this point. Because the only way to communicate to each of us is through words. Okay? No, actions are worth them. No, action it. I need to know what's in your mind so that I know you're not insane. And that's how we do this, by communicating and talking. So the topic has so many parts that the only efficient way to do things is for me to start explaining now. And this was step one. If you can understand true love, through the eyes of a woman, having a goal as a species to be able to give birth to every child being born. The child is perfect in every way. The family it's in is a happy family, well and intelligent. That's the goal, because that's how simple life is, if we can provide that for ourselves. Okay, so maybe after Putin and Trump cause World War III and the Jews shout out that it's the end of the world, God is going to give the Jews their special place in the universe. The dead are going to rise and take everyone else to hell. How I should be how stupid are the people of this world? That is what I've been asking myself since I was 10 years old. To read is to learn. To learn is to become intelligent. To become intelligent is to evolve. I said this, me, Brian Ayers. I don't know if anyone gets that reference. I'll talk to you later.